There's a reason some players keep getting reps while others stay stuck waiting. You can do everything right in practice and still watch somebody else play. The difference isn't effort. It's the little things coaches see immediately but never teach.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Which is exactly why most players don't realize they're missing these techniques. And in this video, I'm bringing down the game-changing details most athletes are never told. The ones that get you on the field, earn trust, and become the star of the show. So let's get into it. The first technique is alignment precision. It helps you win before the snap. Most players line up close enough and call it good football. Listen, man, close enough only works in warm-ups. It works when everyone's half asleep stretching, going through the motions. It does not work on Friday night, let alone Saturday nights. High-level players understand alignment. It's not just where you stand, it's leverage. It's geometry. It is pre-snap chess.
W's in the shot.
Alignment boils down to half a yard wider, a foot back, inside shade versus outside shade. Like in this example here, we have Derek Stingley lined up on the outside, and they're throwing an out-breaking route. So he's in perfect position. And that's what alignment means, man. These tiny details decide whether you're reacting or looking confused 2 steps into the play. And let's be honest, man. If a coach has to keep yelling, move up, no, back, or why are you there? That's not intensity. That's a cry for help.
You tripping, bro. You tripping.
At that point, you're not even playing football. You're playing Where's Waldo, but varsity edition.
After all, I'm not the first person to deliver tough news, like when they found Waldo.
There are many things I can't go into at this time, but I can confirm. But to that point, instead of always asking where's Waldo, maybe some of you should have been asking how's Waldo. Good day.
Football, it's a game of inches, and alignment decides who actually gets them. Coaches see this immediately, before the ball is even snapped. They're already deciding whether they trust you or not, or whether they need to babysit you all night. And trust me, if you're a player, you don't want a coach having to worry about what you're doing, because if that's the case, they're going to take you out the game. You're going to be riding the bench. And I'll keep it real. I messed this up when I played football. I thought effort covered alignment. Like, hey man, I'm going to just run harder after the snap.
Nope.
If that's the case, you're already late. That's like being late to class, sprinting to your seat when the teacher already marked you absent. Because look, being lined up right is only part of it. Because here's where most players still mess up, and that's tempo manipulation. Changing your speed on purpose is a great technique to add to your arsenal. Playing fast doesn't mean going full speed every snap. Because it's not a time drill, and neither is it Mario Kart. You don't get a speed boost for sprinting into the wrong gap. You'll end up looking like this.
I can see you there. I still see you. You're gonna look good on my mantle.
Going 100% every single rep does not make you fast. It usually means you're playing panic ball, but with shoulder pads. And that's not tempo. That's anxiety and cleats. You're reacting instead of reading and hoping speed bails you out. That kind of football looks intense, but it's easy to defend. There's no patience, no control, and defenders feel it almost immediately. If you're always at full speed with no change, you're predictable. And predictability is easy to sit on. If you look at some of these Puka Nacua clips, he's sitting there manipulating the defensive back so he can, change the speed and get open. Not just that, look at some of these Devontae Adams clips. He's working the DB, lulling him to sleep, and then he's breaking out and he's making a catch. Great players understand tempo. They change speed inside the rep, not just between plays. A receiver presses vertical just long enough to make the DB uncomfortable, and then snaps it off, creating that separation. And trust me, man, that press is not random. It's just long enough to make the defender panic before you do. So what I want you to focus on is selling the route like it's a fake ID.
What? What the f***?
What kind of advice are you giving? Listen, man, don't actually sell fake IDs. I don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want you to get in trouble. Tempo manipulation works for defenders as well. High-level defenders, they slow play just long enough. and they steal timing. Then they trigger downhill. Once the picture is clear, they arrive fast without being out of position. It's basically like letting the play think it's safe and then canceling it. It's like it's COD. Hit them with the slide cancel. But for real, that ability to wait for the right moment is what erases big plays before they ever have a chance. Nakobe Dean is one of the best examples for this at the linebacker position. He waits and waits, plays over top, and then he shoots out of a cannon and absolutely destroys Ashton Genty on this rep. Before he even has a chance, man. Speed without control, it's still speed, but it's the easiest speed to defend. When you can change your speed without changing effort, defenders start questioning their life. And they start questioning if football is even worth it. Tempo doesn't make you feel faster. It makes you harder to read, harder to time, and harder to handle. Especially late in games when the defender is already tired or the offense is already tired. Because one wrong step can cost you everything. Fast players run hard. Smart players arrive on time. The next technique is hand placement. When you combined elite tempo manipulation with hand placement, good hand placement might I add, it is the fastest way to win a rep. Feet matter, but hands, they end the rep quickly. And this is where a lot of players get exposed because good footwork can hide bad habits for a second. Bad hands, they get exposed instantly. We've all seen it. Clean release, good leverage, position looks perfect, then boom, hands everywhere, except where they're supposed to be. Suddenly the rep's over, play's dead, and the coach sighs like his Apple Watch just told him his stress level spiked again.
Now, Jarrell, run the route again! Damn it, it's cut! You don't have anybody to flat! And I'm gonna tell
The first clean hands usually win the play. Not the strongest hands, not the wildest punch, but the cleanest ones. And this applies everywhere on the field. Receivers stacking defenders and creating separation instead of grabbing onto them. DBs playing through the hands instead of panicking early. Linemen striking inside instead of hugging like it's a family reunion.
Where my hug at?
That also goes for the D-line, as you'll see in these reps here. Byron Murphy just absolutely destroying the Lions tackles. And even Andrew Van Ginkel. Look at the way they get to the quarterback in a split second. He doesn't even have time to react and even fumbles the ball. Rip Jared Goff. Linebackers too. Very important, man. You got to fit clean inside instead of shoulder checking everyone and hoping for the best. Most players throw their hands after contact like, yeah, I should probably do something now. Look, man, that's not how you're going to cut it. High-level players strike on contact. It's decisive, intentional, and it's confident. Good hands say, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Bad hands say, damn, I hope this works. And hope is just like effort. There's no strategy to it and whatsoever. Another important thing that comes with hand placement is your body angle control, which makes contact easier. And that's technique number 4. Some players try to win collisions with power. They think if you just hit harder, everything will work itself out. And man, that is not to say you can't win collisions with power. But to take you to the next level, great players win collisions with angles. Look at Jalen Petrie here. The way he fires out of this gap and absolutely destroys the running back is teach tape. And once you see this, you can't unsee it. Football starts to slow down when you stop trying to win in straight lines and start controlling space. Body angle control is staying square longer, reducing your surface area so you're less likely to get hit. And most of all, it's forcing your opponents to take the long path. Receivers who reduce their chest make press coverage miserable. Defensive backs who stay hip to hip, they don't panic early. Quinyon Mitchell has some of the stickiest coverage I've seen for a young cornerback. And he stays hip to hip. He doesn't panic. He has his hand in his hip pocket, and he's watching his eyes, ready for his hands to go up. This is an elite tip for my running backs out there. Attack leverage, because that turns what should be big hits into shoulder bumps. And let's be real, For my defenders, if you're tackling just by chasing numbers instead of their hips, that's how highlights happen. Just usually not for you. Angles don't just protect you, they make football simpler. You don't need to be faster or stronger, you just need to be correct. And coaches love players who are correct. And this is a big part of technique number 5. Play and awareness, where the big plays actually happen. This is where most players mentally check out. The whistle almost blows, the play feels over, the brain starts drifting thinking about water, the sideline, or who messed up. Who can I put the blame on so I don't look as bad? And that split second of mental checkout is exactly where chaos lives. Elite players stay locked in because football gets weird at the end of plays. Scrambles, tip balls, late blocks, broken contains, or even missed blocks for that matter. But that moment where everyone else stops moving and somehow the ball didn't get the memo, that's where it's important to live at. You see receivers working back to the quarterback while others stand there like NPCs. Defenders keeping their eyes alive and suddenly finding the ball. Linemen finishing blocks late. And these little things turn normal plays into big gains. Sprinting hard at the start is easy, but who's going to show up when it matters most? Who's going to show up in that moment where your team needs a final touchdown, a final couple yards? And that's where staying disciplined at the end is important and rare, and that shows up always on film. These techniques won't always show up in highlight reels, but they show up when the game matters most, when the game speeds up. And look, to my fans out there, to my young players, to my coaches, instill these little details, these techniques, and I promise you, you're either going to get playing time or you're going to understand the game at a deeper level. If this video helped you out, I'm here to help young fans, players, athletes. I don't care, your grandma. Whoever wants to learn football, stay tuned for the next video. We're going to be breaking down some playoff football and show you what really goes into a winning team. Not my Eagles. But for real though, God first and God bless. See you in the next one.